What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to The Breakdown, the series where I usually analyze subscriber gameplay to help you improve. In today's episode, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to change it up, and I think it's something you guys can appreciate. I'm going to analyze some of my own gameplay, and I'm actually going to analyze my first nuclear game. So this is something where I'm going to be sharing tips and advice for how to actually earn the nuclear medal and exactly what was going on in my head. Now, a lot of you guys have probably already seen the live commentary from this. This was during a stream, and then I posted the stream highlight on my channel. But even with the live commentary, even when I'm trying to explain what's going on in my head, there's usually too much going on, and I can't get a full thought out to tell you guys like exactly what was happening and why I did what I did. Whereas with this series, I'm able to like pause it and go through each situation individually. Now, for those of you that have sent me submissions for the breakdown, don't panic. It's not that I like skipped you in order to do my gameplay and I'm not going to analyze your gameplay. There's still a chance your gameplay will be analyzed if you have sent a gameplay to me in the past. And in the future, it will be subscriber gameplay. I just thought I would take a little bit of a different approach here and analyze one of my own gameplays. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's start it off with the class that I used for this nuclear. So I'm using the VMP with stock and extended mags, a black cell launcher, concussion grenade, flak jacket, scavenger, dead silence, and awareness. So why would I pick a submachine gun for going for nuclears? Like normally you see when people are trying to go for this kind of an accomplishment where they're going on really long gun streaks, they'll typically go with more of an assault rifle playstyle where they hang back and try to pick enemies off from a distance from relative safety. For me personally, I like playing with the more aggressive SMG role, even though I did play very passively in this game. I'm able to make sure that my gunfights are up close. It's very easy to avoid long lines of sight in this game, especially on the map evac, which is what this gameplay is on. So that's why I chose the VMP in this particular situation. I can keep my gunfights up close, and I have a gun that I'm very comfortable with and that pretty much dominates up close. It's beat by very few things up close. It's only beat by a couple shotguns, as well as the Vesper, and maybe a couple burst guns as well. So stock is just a given for me on SMGs. Stock is amazing. If you haven't seen my video on what stock does to SMGs, it is incredible. It makes you a very hard target to hit when you're strafing back and forth. Extended mags is just something that I had on just because I don't feel like I need foregrip on the VMP because I feel like I can control the recoil quite well. So I just toss extended mags on there. That way if I run into like 4 enemies, I don't have to like panic and try and get a quick reload in. I've always got lots of ammo there. The black cell launcher is just great because I'm not running Ghost on this class, so if I need to shoot down a UAV, I will. But at the same time, I was playing with viewers on stream, so I'm pretty confident that they'll shoot stuff down as well. But it is nice to have, and I can always swap it out for a gun on the ground if I need to. Tactical, 1 concussion grenade. This was basically just because I had a point left over on my class, so might as well throw a concussion on there. That might get me a free kill, or it might save my life and get me out of a situation if I need to like stun and run away. And then flak jacket, that's a given. You don't want to be dying to any explosives, and there's lots of explosives in domination. Scavenger is great, just so I don't have to scavenge guns. I don't have to go around trying to find a gun and pick up guns. I can just keep running around with the gun that I'm comfortable with and keep picking up ammo for that. Plus, it also replenishes my concussion grenade, which can get me out of situations. And then dead silence and awareness combo. If you have a headset, if you have a really good headset, you can hear basically everything that's going on around you, and almost nothing should really take you off guard, especially if you're playing up close to your enemies like I am with this playstyle. Alright, so let's get into the situations that I want to talk about with this gameplay. So first off, right off the opening route, I went for the B flag. I'm being aggressive to begin with. It doesn't matter if you die a couple times at the beginning while you're going for a nuclear. So I find it's better to be really aggressive, get that map control established right up front, and you'll notice I didn't throw myself right on the B flag. I pushed past the B flag, got control of this room first, and waited for more team support before I was comfortable jumping on the B flag. Also, you'll notice I pushed up for this buffer zone here, and right here is something that I did that I actually explained in the live commentary. I heard this enemy coming. I knew he was coming around that corner, and if I would have waited out in the open, just aiming down sight at that white barrel that he could have come around and been hiding behind basically, instead of waiting out in the open like that and expecting him to come to that piece of cover where he now has the advantage, I just strafed to the side for a second or two until I could hear that he had come past that barrel. He was right out in the open and had no cover. None of us are on the B flag at this point, so he doesn't think anyone has pushed past the B flag, and this just made for an extremely easy kill. Now right here is pretty basic, but I just wanted to point it out because I see a lot of people not doing this. Very simple and easy way to get a kill. I heard we were losing the B flag, and I knew that he was coming from towards where the A spawns are, so I'm not going to try and take this guy head on. The chances of him looking from the direction that he just came while he's on that flag are slim to none. So instead of pushing and trying to take him head on or from the side, I push all the way around to try and shoot him in the back, which I do with relative ease. But one thing you notice here is I don't do this blindly. I do have a good peek at this big open area coming from over where the A spawns are, because I did expect some enemies to potentially be coming through there. So I looked there first, saw that it was safe, then I exposed my back to that area. Had I not checked that, it could have gone really bad for me. So right after getting that kill, there is an enemy in here, and I don't really like this situation too much, so I just decide I'm going to run away to the safety of my teammates' map control, get a reload in, call my score streaks in, and just regather my thoughts before pushing back into the action. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing this. I actually highly recommend it if you're going for those long streaks. Just every now and then when things just don't feel right, just retreat to some safety and take a breather. Now this next situation is just a great example of the super passive playstyle that I was trying to play with in this gameplay. I didn't want to challenge anything that I didn't feel as though I had a solid advantage in. And in this situation, we both have about the same amount of cover, and I just don't feel as though I have the advantage in this gunfight. Plus, there's multiple enemies coming from behind where that one enemy was, so I decided to just stun and run away. I took a nice route to get out of there, and I can challenge him from a different angle here. So there's nothing wrong with doing that, especially if you're going for a nuclear. You can play a little bit on the passive side. If there's a situation you don't like, just get out of there, but make sure you do it safely. Now, as I come up to this middle area here, this is where I'm expecting to run into enemies. You'll notice I'm pre-aiming corners, I'm strafing back and forth, and I'm always aimed down sight exactly where I expect an enemy to be. And I saw two enemies actually laid down towards their spawn, and I actually just said, whole lot of nope. That's one of those whole lot of nope situations, so I got out of there because those guys have a clear advantage for me. That's out of my gun's effective range. They probably have assault rifles, and I have no cover there. So that's just a situation that I can't challenge. So again, I back off and try a different angle. That's the thing with this passive playstyle. You just have to keep prodding at the enemy until you find their weakness. There's nothing wrong with retreating and trying a different angle if you don't have the advantage. So as I push up towards the A flag here, you'll notice I come around this corner with my sights up. I heard this guy's footsteps. I knew he was going to be there. I was ready for him. He didn't stand a chance because he was in the middle of his sprint. And I saw an opening to get into their flank at their spawn. If you can catch people just as they're coming off spawn, they're usually pretty clueless, and I was able to pick up 2 free kills. Now right here is a great example of knowing the strengths of your guns. I see this guy on the hater on the radar there. He's posted up on a piece of cover as far as I can tell, and he's just pre-aiming this piece of cover that I want to go to right here. I want to challenge him, but I have to know the strengths of my gun, and the VMP isn't exactly at its strongest at that range. So I searched around on the ground a little bit for a longer range gun, found a KN-44, and I was able to come around that corner with much more confidence. Now I did only pick up the assist here, but if my teammate hadn't killed him, I was quite confident in this situation with the KN-44 that I would have gotten that kill anyways. Now in this situation right here, this is just a great example of trying to be unpredictable and just picking them off from different angles, and they have no idea where I'm coming from. I'm towards their spawn here, I picked that one guy off there, and instead of rushing straight forward after firing an unsilenced gun, I rotate back around, try to attack him from a different angle. Pick off one guy, rotate back, pick off another guy. Part of this was using my headset to my advantage. I could hear that second guy come over to my right-hand side there, so I was able to rotate around to get him. And right here, I find a situation that I just don't like. I know I don't have any advantage in this situation, so get out of there, get out of that guy's line of sight, and force him to come close to you if he is going to rush you. And that allowed me to heal up. I did get a little bit lucky. There was this guy that came on my flank, and if he had been paying a little bit more attention, he would have found me, but he didn't, and I got lucky. Skipping ahead a little bit more, this is just to show the power of picking up a gun that is sort of the opposite to the gun that you're using. So I'm using a VMP, but I picked that KN-44 up earlier so I can challenge longer range gunfights. And towards this B flag here, I decided the KN-4 was a better option than the VMP. Then I saw this guy in the corner on the minimap. I wanted to rush him. I felt quite confident that I could rush him and easily kill him. But this is a situation where the VMP now excels. So you're able to swap back and forth. So this is why I always recommend, especially if you're going on longer streaks, try to find a gun that is the opposite to the gun that you're using. So if you have a close range gun, try to find a long range gun that you can pick up and just keep as your secondary. And then if you find a situation where you really want to use a long range gun, you have that ready to go. Now getting into the second round here is just a great example of patience and not being stupid about challenging things. So that gunfight right there, I could have gone back and tried to challenge him, and there was a chance I would have been able to kill him because I did have him to the point where I think I only needed like one more bullet into him to get the kill. But I was hurt a little bit, this isn't the VMP's ideal range, so I decided to just be smart about it, back off, and wait for a situation where I have the advantage. Now in this situation right here, I just want you to pay attention. I'm aiming down sight as I come around every one of these corners. I'm using the stock to my advantage. I know where the enemies are, even though we only have a UAV up, not a hater. I know where they're going to be coming from, and I've always got my sights up and ready to go, and I know where the enemies are coming from because of that UAV. I'm being patient, I'm not just sprinting into their spawn here, and you might notice, whenever possible, I'm always trying to strafe either left or right in a gunfight. This just makes me a harder target to hit and improves my odds of winning the gunfight. Now once we have the hater up, you'll notice that I'm always trying to shoot my enemies in the back or in the sides. That's the luxury of having the hater, is you can see which direction they're facing and you can take them off guard. Now sometimes I do get into the face-to-face gunfight still, but at least I'm more prepared for them because I have the hater up. But you'll notice I'm always trying to shoot them in the side, like right here. I'm trying to rotate around to where their spawn is so I can shoot them in the side, but it turns out we flip the spawns. One other tip that I have specifically for going for nuclears or if you're going for high streaks is I had no idea that I was on a 29 kill streak here. I knew I was getting up there, I knew I was getting close to the nuclear, but I wasn't thinking in my head, one more kill, just one more kill, just one more kill. When you start doing that, that's when you often make mistakes because you're focusing on how many kills you need rather than how to get the next kill. You're not focusing on the game, you're focusing on a number. Just know that you're on a streak, you're doing well, and just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, and play it smart. That's how I was able to pick up that nuclear. I hope you guys found this video useful, and I kind of wanted to use this as a forum to ask you a question about the direction of this series in the future. Typically, I'll want to analyze the average to below average sorts of games so I can point out lots of mistakes, especially the more common mistakes that people tend to make. I have, however, been getting lots of comments of people asking me to analyze more exceptional gameplay and show what people are doing right, so that's kind of what I did in this scenario here. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you prefer it if I analyze gameplays where there's mistakes that you can learn from? Or do you prefer if I analyze the more exceptional gameplays where I can point out where people are doing things right? I'd like to know if you want to see like a balance of the two, so sometimes I do an average to below average, sometimes I do exceptional gameplays, or do you prefer one or the other? Please let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you do want to submit a gameplay for the series, all you have to do is send me a link to an unlisted YouTube video or a YouTube video that's raw gameplay in at least 720p. Send that to the email address that I will link below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.